What if reality isn't fixed? What if everything you call real, your limits, your beliefs, your gods, are just programs? And what if you could rewrite them? This is Chaos Magick, not stage tricks, not fantasy, but a radical system of conscious reality manipulation, where belief isn't sacred, it's a tool, and your mind is the altar. Forget ancient laws, forget dogma, tradition, or even spiritual morality. Chaos magicians don't follow the rules. They bend them because they know the truth. Belief shapes reality, and anything you believe strongly enough begins to manifest. Symbols become sigils, intent becomes spellwork, and the only limit is your imagination. This isn't about worship, it's about hacking your subconscious, because the Chaos Magician doesn't wait for permission. They build their own gods, they forge their own rituals, and they program their own path. So here's the question: if reality is just belief made solid, what would you choose to believe? If you knew it would become real. Welcome to Chaos Magick. Let the rewiring begin. Part 1. The origins of Chaos Magick, where science meets sorcery. Long before Chaos Magick had a name, it had a pulse. In the shadows of ritual, in the edges of thought, in the mind of a rebel. His name was Austin Osman Spare, an artist, mystic, and outcast who shattered the rules of traditional magic. He rejected the idea that power must come from old books or secret orders. Instead, he claimed the key to magic was simple: belief plus will equals result. Forget the robes, forget the Latin incantations. To Spare, true magic happened not in ritual, but in the subconscious. He channeled symbols from his dreams. He crafted sigils, personal symbols charged with desire, then forgotten to bypass the conscious mind. And in doing so, he opened a door. Decades later, that door was kicked wide open by Peter J. Carroll, founder of the modern Chaos Magick movement. In his groundbreaking text, Liber Null, Carroll laid down the new laws. Belief is a tool, not a truth. Rituals are psychological tech, not religious acts. The goal is results, not reverence. And so, Chaos Magick was born. A system that blended science, psychology, quantum theory, and ancient shamanism. Not to serve tradition, but to serve the magician. This wasn't about worshipping deities, it was about creating thought forms. It wasn't about pleasing spirits. It was about bending reality through focus and intent. Chaos magicians borrowed from everything: Buddhism, Kabbalah, voodoo, science fiction, memes. If it worked, it stayed. If it didn't, it was discarded. It was magic stripped of its dogma and re-engineered like code. Their motto: nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Not as nihilism, but as liberation. Because if reality is shaped by belief, then the magician becomes the programmer, and the spell is just software. Chaos Magick isn't safe, it isn't comforting, but it's honest. It hands you the keys and asks one question: what do you want to build? Because in this system, you don't just bend the rules, you write them. You summon gods for a single use. You erase old identities and craft new ones like sigils. You treat your subconscious like a laboratory and your will as the only authority. But if belief is just a tool, if gods are just constructs, how do you learn to use it? How do you make the unreal real? That's where the true art begins. In the crafting of will into symbol, in the fusion of chaos into form. And it all starts with one question: What do you want to manifest? Part 2. Belief hacking. Turning thought into force. In Chaos Magick, belief is not sacred. It's not eternal. It's not something you cling to for identity. It's a tool, like a spell, like a software program. You run it, you test it, and when it no longer serves your purpose, you uninstall it. Chaos magicians call this practice paradigm shifting. The conscious choice to enter a belief system like stepping into a virtual world. Today, you might believe in angels. Tomorrow, in Norse gods. Next week, in nothing but your own inner fire. Because it's not about what's true. It's about what works. What bends reality. What produces results. And here's where it gets wild. Even beliefs you know are false can still shift your world. That's not magic, that's neuroscience. Modern research proves it. Placebo effect. A sugar pill can cure pain if the mind believes it's medicine. Neuroplasticity. Your brain rewires itself in real time based on thoughts and intention. Hypnosis alters perception, memory, even the body's physical response. So what if a fake god still gives you real strength? What if an invented symbol still unlocks deep psychic change? What if a ritual made up last night actually moves energy? The magician's mind is not a follower. It's an interface between intention and manifestation. That's why chaos magicians don't ask, "Is this real?" They ask, "Does this generate power?" Because the subconscious mind, the realm where change begins, doesn't care what's real. It only responds to emotion, symbol, and pattern. Speak to it with precision, and it obeys. Confuse it, and it repeats old code. So how do you speak its language? Through the tools chaos magicians sharpen like blades, symbols that bypass logic and hit the energetic core, altered states that unlock deeper layers of perception, sigils, chants, gestures, designed to trigger response. This is not about faith. It's about engineering the inner world to ripple out into the outer one. Even something as bizarre as writing a desire in a made-up language, charging it with emotion, burning the paper and forgetting the wish, can create synchronicities in the real world. Because belief isn't about accuracy, it's about resonance. What you believe, fully, emotionally, symbolically, begins to shape what you experience. You are the magician, the software architect of your mind, the spellcaster who codes reality with thought. And once you understand that, once you stop worshipping belief and start wielding it, you become dangerous to fear, to limitation, to every system that depends on you staying asleep. But raw belief is only the start. You need tools. You need language. You need rituals that aim that power like a laser. So how do chaos magicians do it? What do they actually use to turn thought into change? Part 3. Sigils, symbols and energy manipulation. So, you've hacked belief. You've shifted paradigms. Now comes the real art, coding the field. Enter the sigil. To the outside world, it's just a squiggle, a strange symbol on paper. But to the chaos magician, it's a compressed spell. A visual encryption of intention burned into the subconscious. Here's how it works. You take a statement of will. I attract clarity. I become fearless. I command flow and synchronicity. Then you remove vowels, eliminate repeats, and twist the remaining letters into an abstract design, your sigil. But the real magic isn't in the drawing. It's in the implanting. You charge it with emotion, with trance, with intensity, until your conscious mind lets go. and the image sinks into the deeper layers of your being. Some use breathwork, others use dance, meditation, or even sexual energy, not to please, but to amplify the signal, because in Chaos Magick, the body is an amplifier, the symbol is the command line, and the subconscious is the operating system. Then, once the sigil is charged, you forget it. That's right, you let it vanish from your conscious mind. Why? Because the observer gets in the way. When you stop obsessing, the field starts responding. This is not wishful thinking. This is energetic coding. Symbols don't attract energy. They instruct it. They are the interface between thought and field. And it doesn't stop there. Advanced chaos, magicians create servitors, energetic constructs programmed with intention. Imagine a psychic assistant, a being made from willpower, designed to perform a specific task. Protection, guidance, influence. Even more powerful, Hypersigils. These are extended magical narratives, books, artworks, even social media accounts, created as living spells. Grant Morrison, the comic book writer, used a character in The Invisibles as a hypersigil of himself, and his life began to mirror the story. Because reality at its core is narrative-driven, and chaos magicians know how to edit the script. And if you're thinking, this sounds like imagination, you're absolutely right. Imagination is the core of magic, not as fantasy, but as the creative interface between self and cosmos. The more emotionally invested, symbolically focused, and energetically aligned you are, the more real the result becomes. So now we've gone from belief to symbol to form. But here's the warning. When you can shape reality through intention, when you can weaponize imagination, when you realize that real and unreal are just settings on the dial, you must ask, what happens if this power is misused? What if it's hijacked? What if someone else is already using it on you? Part 4. The dangers and misunderstandings of Chaos Magick. Mention the words Chaos Magick and watch the fear rise. Whispers of dark arts, black magic, even satanic ritual. But here's the truth. The fear says more about the system than the practice. Chaos Magick isn't demonic. It isn't evil. It's just free. And freedom terrifies control. This is a system with no gods unless you choose them, no sacred rules unless you write them, and no punishment unless you believe in it. So what happens when you strip away the fear? When you remove divine judgment, religious morality, cosmic karma? You're left with the raw power of will, unfiltered, unbound, unapologetic, and that's where the danger lives, because Chaos Magick is not inherently dark, but it is morally neutral, like fire, like code, like a loaded server with no firewall. It's a tool, and like any powerful tool, it depends entirely on the user. That's why the early pioneers, like Austin Osman Spare and Peter J. Carroll, warned against the ego trap. When belief becomes programmable, when rituals can be invented, when reality bends to intention, the risk isn't demons, it's hubris, thinking you're a god, while still trapped in the ego of a child. That's the real danger of Chaos Magick. Not evil, but emptiness. Use it without heart, and it becomes nihilism. Use it without purpose, and it becomes manipulation. Some chaos magicians fall into the pit of control, trying to bend others, to dominate outcomes, to script life like a tyrant instead of a creator. But just like in hacking, Skill without ethics breeds collapse. That's why the most evolved chaos magicians speak not of control, but of resonance, of aligning intention with compassion, of crafting a life that's not just powerful, but meaningful. You see, the truth about chaos magic is this: it doesn't make you powerful, it reveals how powerful you already are, and demands you become responsible for it. There's no one to blame, no devil to fight, no karma to hide behind, just you, your will, your shadow, your light. And yes, that level of sovereignty is terrifying to those raised on obedience. That's why institutions demonized it, why it's mocked, feared, or buried under layers of sensationalism. Because a human who knows how to code belief, who understands vibration, will, and intent, can no longer be controlled. And that is the most dangerous thing of all. But here's the twist. When chaos magic is used with clarity, with awareness, with aligned intention, it doesn't destroy the world. It rebuilds it. Not through superstition, but through sovereignty. Not through doctrine, but through direct experience. So the final question isn't, is this dangerous? The real question is, are you ready to hold that kind of power and not misuse it? Part 5. You are the ritual, the chaos magician's path. Here's the final truth. You are not using the ritual. You are the ritual. You are the circle. You are the flame. You are the sigil drawn in fire across the astral fabric of reality. No robes, no temples, no ancient language required. Just one thing: focused will, channeled through clarity of desire. This is the path of the chaos magician. It isn't about memorizing someone else's spells. It's about designing your own. Not because you disrespect tradition, but because you understand the principle behind it. You see, in chaos magic, the sacred is not fixed. It is chosen. The altar, your notebook, your voice, your mirror, the offering, your attention, your emotion, your energy, the invocation. A sentence you write yourself, whispered with full presence. This is where ritual becomes reality architecture. Simple tools become powerful conduits. A journal where you script intentions like software code. A candle lit with meaning, your signal to the universe. A breath held and released as a spell of surrender. A dream coded before sleep with intention and symbol. A playlist, each song charged with meaning to shape your state. You don't need complexity, you need coherence. Because everything in your life is already a spell. The words you repeat, the beliefs you reinforce, the stories you tell yourself when no one else is listening. Chaos. Magicians live magically not by escaping reality, but by engaging it like a living interface. Your archetypes become armor. Your emotions become energy. Your language becomes command lines. You begin to walk the world like a lucid dreamer, consciously inserting meaning where others see noise, embedding sigils into your style, your art, your speech. Every act becomes intentional, every thought a potential shift. And when life throws chaos at you, you no longer flinch. You listen. Because now you speak its language. You become the eye in the storm, the still point in the spiral. The author rewriting the script from within the simulation. That's the chaos magician's path. Not to control the world, but to awaken within it. To remember that you are not a pawn, you are the coder. And here's the final image. A soul stands in a burning field of collapsing paradigms. No gods above, no devils below, just raw possibility. They reach into the void, draw a glowing sigil in the air. not to summon, but to declare, I am the ritual. So now the question is, if reality is plastic, if belief is the programming language, if you are the channel through which it flows, what will you shape with it? Because chaos is not destruction, it is the raw material of creation. And now, you hold the pen. Final CTA. If reality is shaped by belief, then what will you choose to believe next? Will you keep downloading old programs written by fear, dogma, and control? Or will you code your own? Subscribe now and reclaim the forgotten truth. Your mind is not a mirror. It's a wand. And your belief is the spell. Next episode preview: the truth about summoning spirits. Are you calling something from beyond? Or are you awakening something buried within? The answer might rewrite everything you thought you knew about contact, consciousness, and the veil between worlds.